You're also watching news tonight live on GH1 TV. Tonight, we want to put focus back on the Ghana Beyond Aid agenda. Because since the 1960s, Ghana has been evaluating the prospect of having an integrated bauxite and aluminium industry as part of its industrial development by utilizing its 960 million metric tons estimated bauxite reserves, the second largest reserves of bauxite deposits in Africa besides Guinea, primarily located at Awaso, Ninehini and Chebi. It is in this light that the Ghana Integrated Aluminium Development Corporation was established through an act of parliament to promote and develop Ghana's bauxite reserves and downstream industry. Tonight, we want to understand the strategy of this corporation and the nexus it has with government's vision of a Ghana Beyond Aid. Michael Ansai is the Chief Executive Officer of GIADEC and joins me in the studio. Good to see you again, Michael.
Thank you, Ridwan. It's a pleasure to be here, and good evening to your listeners.
All right. I know you've been traveling, for over the last 2 weeks. To some parts of the country, particularly the mining areas. Let's begin with that. What did you observe on the ground?
Yes, thank you for that. We've been traveling to the mining communities that we're going to be engaged with. So we've been to Chebi in the East Akim Municipal District. We've been to Awaso in the Bibiani, Ariaso, Bekwai District, Ninehin in the Chimampudwa District, and also in Pasaso, also in the Ahafwa North South District. And the purpose of these trips really was to ensure that, we got very close to the people, especially at a time like this. Since the inception of GIADEC, we've been on a path of working to build a relationship of trust and partnership with the communities in which we're going to be mining. And part of this trust and partnership is to be there to listen, to hear the issues that the people are facing, to understand what their problems may be, to understand what their aspirations are, and to really ensure that there's an aligned interest in what we're doing. For us, really social purpose, if you like, linked to the commercial success of what we're doing, is something that needs to come together to give us the license to operate in these communities. So the trips that we organized really was to make sure that we could get close to the communities, to the districts, the townships, and see how they're responding in this COVID-19 era. And also to be able to present to them some items, right, like PPEs and other things that they need to protect themselves at a time like this. And it was a very fruitful trip indeed.
Right. Let's talk about GIADEC. I'm sure somebody is hearing it for the first time and is wondering, GIADEC, what is the purpose of GIADEC? What do you do?
Well, GIADEC, as your introduction said, is a Ghana Integrated Aluminium Development Corporation. And this was established in 2018 through an act of parliament. To lead, with a mandate to lead the development of an integrated aluminium industry in Ghana. As you mentioned again, we have some 960 million metric tons of bauxite reserves across these 4 areas that I mentioned, in Chebi, Ninehin, and Awaso in the main. We've been mining bauxite in Awaso for over 70 years now. And what we want to do now is to redevelop the entire 960 million metric tons of bauxite, and to establish the full value chain in Ghana, which gives us an integrated aluminium industry. None of that exists in Africa today. Guinea, as you said, has significant resources, but no country has, if you like, the mining, the refining, and the smelting capability. And what GIADEC is doing is putting in place a structure that will ensure that we can deliver on this.
Okay.
We're looking at the existing businesses, Ghana Bauxite Company, in which we hold a 20% stake. We're looking at revamping that. To increase production to 5 million metric tons, and then to lead to the building of a new refinery, which will be 1.6 million tons of alumina capacity. And we've already signed an agreement as we speak. So GIADEC has made some strides in moving towards establishing or delivering on its mandate.
Okay, we can't talk about an integrated development of the industry and not talk about capital expenditure, which has been a challenge for a lot of countries on the continent.
Yes.
Realizing and taking into cognizance of the fact that this is very crucial in achieving a lot of the things that you have set out to achieve, how do you intend, as the head of the corporation, to address some of these hurdles?
Yeah, so you must realize, let's put this in context. Right. The president has declared a vision, a very clear vision of a Ghana Beyond Aid.
Right.
That Ghana Beyond Aid speaks to us being able to harness our resources in a way that benefits our people, in a way that ensures that we create wealth that will stay in Ghana, that will benefit the people of Ghana, that will grow jobs, grow GDP, etc. So it will stop our reliance on aid. Now, GIADEC is one vehicle which gives credence to the president's vision in that context. Coming to the issue of capital expenditure, what we're doing is radically different to the way we've addressed mining previously. As I speak, we're going through a process where we're engaging with investors globally. We started with a significant number of companies that were interested in Ghana's bauxite and
how many multinational companies have you wooed so far?
Well, we started off with the region of about 40 or so. We shortlisted about 16 to go into our second round of investor engagement, and in a huge thing that involves significant amounts of money. You talk about capital expenditure. You're talking about multi-billion-dollar investments to build refineries and to develop smelters, etc. This is significant. So as I speak, we are engaged with these investors, reviewing to select those who will partner us to do what we're doing. We've taken a very clear decision now that Ghana will play a key part in this. We're going to take equity in the businesses that will set up to do mining, to do refining, to do smelting. In fact, the law requires that GIADEC will hold a minimum of 30% stake in the ventures that we create. So part of what we are doing, of course, is to raise the money that will be our equity in these ventures. And of course, we're looking at GIADEC raising that on its own balance sheet, which we're constructing. And given that, we'll be able to make these investments and to drive the development of the industry.
To what extent is this being done in the spirit of local content?
That's a very good question. Again, if you look at the essence of that vision of a Ghana Beyond Aid, it is to ensure that we can empower Ghanaians.
Right.
We can give Ghanaians the opportunity to hold equity in significant aspects of the Ghanaian economy, or significant areas in the Ghanaian economy. And this is one such example. And as I speak, one of the things that we're requiring of our partners is, apart from GIADEC holding that 30% stake, Ghanaian entrepreneurs will be able to take equity in this. There'll also be further multiplier impacts in what we're doing. This will lead to companies being able to, play a role in various parts of it, whether it's in mining, it's in haulage, it's in supply of equipment, supply of various inputs into the process, so that it's the refining side of it or the mining side of it. All of these, we are making sure that these will be areas that Ghanaians can participate in. So we're looking at foreign investors, of course, to bring in their expertise, their capital, but we're looking to be partners, as opposed to, just giving them concessions to mine bauxite.
Okay. Michael, in taking your concluding remarks in 40 seconds, I know that when it comes to mining activities, a lot of environmental concerns have been expressed. How are you ensuring that at the end of the day, all these things are being executed and we are not having adverse impacts on the environment? Yeah,
that's a very good question too. So one of the things, I applaud the interest that bauxite mining, has had right across the nation, and the role that even our civil society organizations are playing in if like keeping us, on our toes in some of what we're doing. GIADEC is very committed to environmental excellence. When I say environmental excellence, I mean everything to do with the environment, social, governance aspects of what we're doing. We're very committed to doing that. We want to ensure that we, as far away from destroying the environment, we actually protect the environment.
Right.
We're going to make sure we implement world-class standards in terms of adherence to various standards of practice in mining that will ensure that we don't destroy the environment. As I speak, we've carried out hydrology studies, we've carried out flora-fauna studies to do with the various areas that we're going to be mining, some of which are in forest reserves. So we are very keen on making sure that environmental protection forms a core part of what we're doing, and we're engaged with, a whole raft of statutory organizations to make sure that we comply with regulations in Ghana, but also international standards.
All right. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. I wish we could go on, but we are out of time. But thank you so much for joining us in the studio. It's a pleasure to have you. Michael Ansah is the Chief Executive Officer for the Ghana Integrated Aluminium Development Corporation. Let's now take you to the international front.